Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. The VA is ending it. This is new news that just came out, and I wanted to share it with you now. Before we jump into it, I do want to throw out a special thank you to Ann Smith. Ann Smith, 5861. Thank you so much for your super comment, super chat. I truly appreciate your support very much. Thank you, Ann Smith. All right, so jumping into this, this just came out. This was on the Federal News Network, and it just came out September 18th, 2025. And I wanted to share it with you here today. I would love to get your comments as well on what sort of impacts we could realize as veterans who are utilizing the VA. So the VA is ending this, and let's jump into it. Hit the thumbs up for me, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate your support. All right, VA to end special salary rate for IT workers. Doesn't sound like a big deal on its surface. However, the VA is leaning heavily on IT stuff, right? I don't know exactly which IT workers we're talking about, but we know that there is a lot of implementation of AI and other things with regard to IT. They're changing all of the systems. They're trying to ramp all of that up. There's a lot of moving pieces on the information technology side of the house. If you were receiving special salary rate and that goes away, well, now your pay just got cut. What happens when your pay gets cut? You start looking for another job that's going to pay more than what you're getting now. And then if we start to lose those IT workers who have an understanding of the direction and how the VA stuff works and all of that, what sort of ramp-up periods are we looking at to bring on new people? Is there going to be any sort of complications with that, with the fact that they're trying to drill down 30,000 by the end of September? So there's a lot of, I guess, points here that we need to think about. So let's dive a little further in here. The Department of Veterans Affairs is canceling the special salary rate for a second occupation, IT workers. In a new memo from the Office of the Chief Human Capital Officer, VA says it is terminating the Office of Information Technology sponsored Title V Special Salary Rate, the SSR, approved under the PACT Act, effective October 4th of 2025. All right, OCHCO, which I believe is Office of Chief Human Capital Officer, so OCHCO, conducted a review of the circumstances listed in 5 CFR 530.304B and the factors listed in 5 CFR 530.306 that led to establishing the OIT, Office of Information Technology, SSR. This is the special rate, and determined that the special rates are no longer needed to recruit and retain Department of Veterans Affairs computer engineers, computer scientists, and IT specialists, stated the memo, which Federal News Network obtained. The SSR is terminated in all 58 OPM established locality pay areas effective October 4th, 2025. Employees will be placed on the appropriate GS locality pay table or a retained rate effective October 5th, 2025. VA canceled the SSR for human resources employees in June, which I covered that here as well. The SSR covered HR specialists GS 0201 and HR assistants GS 0203 in the Veterans Health Administration. The VA focused on staffing up its human resources at the same time it began aggressively hiring healthcare professionals and support staff to treat more veterans and process more claims under the PACT Act. The department created the special salary rate under the PACT Act, which extended eligibility for VA health and benefits for veterans exposed to toxic substances or hazards during their military service. For IT employees under SSR, VA says they will not see a decrease in pay. The only exception is for temporary or term appointments, which are not eligible for pay retention. Okay, so I guess that apparently they're just sliding over. It's like a lateral move is what it sounds like. So for IT employees under SSR, this is that special rate, VA says they will not see a decrease in pay. Good. The only exception is for temporary or term appointments, which are not eligible for pay retention. So it sounds like this special salary rate or whatever is essentially going to be mirrored and slide over to the closest GS level and get them in there. However, there will be some that are getting a reduction in pay. There will still be some that are getting reduced pay. And this is temporary and term appointments. And the same thing will apply that I mentioned earlier. You're going to just look for work quicker in a temporary or term appointment if your pay gets reduced. So per 5 USC 5363, if the employee's former rate of pay on the SSR is greater than the maximum rate of basic pay payable for the grade of the employee's position immediately after the SSR is terminated, the employee is entitled to basic pay at the rate equal to the lesser of the employee's former rate of basic pay, or 150% of the maximum rate of basic pay payable for the grade of the employee's position immediately after the SSR termination. Remember, it's the lesser of those. VA stated its frequently asked questions, if employees' existing rate is greater than step 10 of their grade on the new pay table, they will receive a retained rate equal to their existing rate. For example, VA showed that an employee who is at GS 11 step 2 with a special rate of $84,043 would transition to a GS 11 step 6 with a salary of $86,259. So it'll be greater than, not less than, so equal to or greater than whatever the GS grade and step. VA says SSR employees in steps 1 through 9 and receiving a bump will have to wait before moving to the next step. Quotation here, time served on the previous pay table is credible towards the new waning period. The same waning period for within grade increases requirements apply for steps, so 52 weeks for steps 1 through 3, 104 weeks for steps 4 through 6, and 156 weeks for steps 7 through 10, VA wrote. An employee served for 6 months at GS 11, step 2 on an SSR, and was placed at GS 11, step 5 on the GS locality pay table. To reach step 6, the employee will only have to serve 1.5 years at step 5 instead of the full 2 years, since the step 6 months at the step 2 are credible. So that's good that they're moving that over. So really the biggest impact we are going to see most likely are going to be for those temporary and term employees. And I don't know how many of those there are. My guess is you had projects. Those projects required extra hands. Those extra hands equate to term and temporary positions. Now you're cutting their pay for a very short term. It could expedite their exit, would be my guess. If I was to try to look at something from some sort of a collateral damage standpoint, how much money are you really saving on those term and temporary positions? How much money are you saving versus the potential collateral damage by early exits if you have these projects that you're trying to get done? So with that, thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.